Hello, everybody. Welcome to the post-show and Scrum. This is the post-show portion here in the Now Arena, AEW All Out. I am RJ City. Lexi Nair is here.
Hello.
Daddy Magic.
The pre-Scrum post-show.
Yeah.
This is it.
That's what we're doing.
Doing it again. The third ever pre-Scrum post-show.
Renee is, I think, understandably not here right now, dealing with a lot. Lexi has been nice enough to fill in.
Thank you, Lexi.
I'm the honorary fill-in, so
and like, all I can say is like, that was fucked.
Yeah. No, I mean, as we found out last time, we can't swear on these.
Oh, we can. I didn't
but
know the rules of this.
I just don't. I do not know what to say. After a lot of the last two matches, I do not know what to say.
I mean, the audience was chanting, "This is murder."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And that's what we saw.
Yeah.
An attempted murder.
Yeah. And AEW also made the decision to not show the footage on their social media.
Rightfully so.
So yeah, that
probably made the right call.
Big red line for a lot of people that would cross tonight.
I mean, should we explain what happened for the people if you didn't see what happened?
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, let's say Bryan Danielson had a fantastic match against Jack Perry.
Yeah.
I thought Jack was also fantastic in terms of stepping up against Bryan.
That to that point, yeah, couldn't be prouder of Jack. Like held his own against a world-class athlete, the world champion, right? And a real test. I know he's the TNT champion, but there is a step up there. And Jack delivered, didn't come through, but delivered.
Yes, and I think you almost got the sense of like when he was in the ring with Bryan really didn't know what to expect from Jack or if Jack could keep up with him. And I feel like they started out slow, but then Bryan really got the hang of like what Jack could really do when he was in there.
And of course, the opportunity arose. The Young Bucks came out there. They were run off by Claudio and Yuta and Pac. And then Bryan Danielson won. And then his arms were raised in victory. And then all of a sudden, Luchasaurus came.
And what a moment. Right?
Between him and Jack?
What a moment. Between Kill Switch or the former Luchasaurus, Jack Perry in the corner.
Yes. And then we heard Christian's music. We've not seen or heard from Christian since he won at All In. Smart move on his part.
Yep.
Obviously waiting for the best moment.
and picked his spot.
Yeah.
Saw an opportunity, picked his spot.
But
didn't happen. Ran into a wall.
See Mox jump in the railing.
No.
Claudio, Yuta, and Pac jump in the railing. And he called off the troops. Probably a good idea. He can hold on to that for a very long time.
What were you guys thinking when you saw, obviously, the two teams lined up facing one another?
I just felt the electricity of that moment. Like the Now Arena was just, you could feel it.
Yeah.
You could absolutely feel it.
Did you think there was like going to be,
a brouhaha?
Well, between the BCC, right? Like we've been kind of like trying to figure out like what Moxley's doing with Marina and like what his kind of game plans are. And is he a part of the BCC? Is he not?
Well, I also thought, BCC against the patriarchy is where we're headed.
Yes,
100%.
Right.
And it kind of felt like Marina was just sucked into that and she would have been like a part of,
Mox has been a fan of Marina for a long time. He's made no secret. He said it in interviews and stuff. He always admired her work and how tough she was and how vicious she was. And then they all get in the ring. Big hug. I will say, certainly, it seemed to be a lot of eyes on Mox because he has been dubious the past 2 weeks.
I don't know if anybody knows. Did you notice he stepped back when they raised Bryan's hands?
Yeah,
right?
he was not there.
He stepped back. Immediately. And then Claudio just.
I was stunned at Claudio.
Did
not foresee Claudio being the guy to do this at all. And it also looked like Pac was ready to hold Yuta back.
Did you see that?
Any of this happened? Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, you're right. He had him in the corner. Yeah. And it hadn't happened yet. And then wham, it happens. And Wheeler just looked like a 10-year-old child.
Yes. Wailing.
Weeping.
Oh, my God.
And then, Bryan got hit and immediately popped up and was stunned that Claudio hit him.
Yeah.
And then the next
series
2
of
minutes
events,
was stuff I don't even want to talk about because I don't even know how to explain it. I don't really know what to...
there was a bag.
Yeah.
Put over somebody's head.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
God,
they tried to suffocate. They tried to suffocate. I'll just talk about it. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if you want to shut it off, that's fine. They tried to suffocate Bryan Danielson. Okay, the world champion, the Blackpool Combat Club, John Moxley took a bag. I don't know where did it come from, out of his pocket, put it over his head, and tried to suffocate the man. That's what happened here tonight.
Yeah.
This was meticulously planned from the jump. Like this is not coincidental. This is
No.
There is serious intent.
When they did what they needed to do, they just left. They left with the crowd, and then paramedics grabbed Brian. I would assume we would find out about his status
if he wasn't
point.
okay.
Yeah.
I feel like we were all backstage, and the doctors were screaming, bringing Brian's body back. Like no one knew. It's still what is going on.
How long has this been planned? What caused it? Brian wins at Wembley 2 weeks ago. Where's John? John's not there. John's not there. How long has John Moxley been feeling this way? I can't even remember. When was the last time we saw John Moxley?
Right.
When was it? Forbidden Door. Did we see
at least a month, I think.
Right?
Yeah.
What has been going on, guys?
I don't know. Everyone was quite stunned. We made the right decision to, I guess, not show it. And I look, we're going to find out more. None of these people are going to be going away.
I mean, unless they're going to the Slammer.
Well, Brian was supposed to defend his title at Grand Slam.
Yeah.
They got all
Against
that stuff
Darby.
on the table.
Against Darby
I
Allin.
have no idea what happens from here.
And how does Darby Allin factor into all this?
And where is he? Because
John Moxley's been
keeps
calling him out.
Yes.
And he's got the title match at Grand Slam after winning the Royal Rampage a couple weeks ago.
If I was Darby, I'd probably continue to stay home right now.
Yeah.
I don't want to walk into
Okay,
this.
knowing Darby, do we think he's going to stay home?
That's why me.
The man.
This guy gets hit by a bus and comes to work the next day.
I know. And then
Psycho.
The match after that, is Swerve and Hangman. Lights out.
Could get even worse.
Steel cage.
In the bag over the head.
Yeah.
Cinder blocks, needles, a spike, a wooden spike.
Yeah.
It was a sentimental spike. It wasn't just a spike. It was from
the house.
Debris of the burnt down childhood home of Swerve Strickland.
Yeah. Swerve decided to take all that anger,
a heavy night,
and hate and throw it back in Hangman's face, but did not work out for him either. I was surprised at the result of that match.
You surprised that Hangman won?
Well, because Swerve,
you burn a man's house down.
Yeah.
All of that. But just think about the road that Hangman Page has been through, right?
Yeah.
This man, the home invasion, you go back a year ago, right?
Yeah.
You can't, speaking of father, myself, you come on.
Yeah.
You don't let
you
that
cross
go.
the line.
You
Yeah.
cross the
Yeah.
line is saying the
Right.
least. And to think that the audience somehow flipped these two characters, right?
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Hangman now being
although
the
a lot
villain
of people
here.
still on the
The
fence.
villain.
A lot of people there go, "Oh, Hangman did nothing wrong." We always forget that Swerve did the home invasion.
right.
Is this all the consequences of Swerve's previous actions coming back?
It
to haunt
is
him?
100%. It is.
Swerve has been on such a run, but then two huge losses within the span of 2 weeks. Bryan Danielson, Wembley, the biggest stage, and then this loss is perhaps the most personal one.
I mean, it stings. Where does a guy like Swerve go from here? Which is, I think, what you're getting to. You know
The
what I mean?
hospital.
Well, after the hospital, right?
Yeah.
How does he get his career back on track?
I don't know.
I mean, it took him this long to get here. How does he get back on top? Now, do you think part of why Swerve became so beloved is just because of Prince Nana?
The people love
Because
the
No,
think of how evil. We're talking about the home and what is
Speaking
happening.
of beloved figures in AEW, ladies and gentlemen,
Mark Sterling.
Mark Sterling.
Are you laughing? I don't understand why you're laughing.
In
I
a jovial
would
sense,
never.
not at. It was a communal.
Was attacked by Dustin Rhodes tonight.
Yeah, you were,
I was just out there doing my job.
as you usually do.
I was attacked. Listen, I was watching the show out there. I heard you ask, why did John Moxley do that? I think I know why.
Please.
Enlighten us, Mark.
This was John Moxley's company, okay? This was his company before Bryan Danielson came in, okay?
Why are you yelling at me?
I'm just saying, you were wondering why. I'll tell you why. Bryan Danielson took this company away from him, sucked his top billing away from him. That's why he did it. He's taking it back.
You think that's how egotistical a guy like John Moxley is?
Yeah.
That's all this is about?
Please don't tell him I said that.
I do want to say, Mark, you suffered your first AEW loss to John Moxley.
Very true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Over 1 million.
Wow.
A main event, one of the greatest main events of all time. I'm told people are saying out there that it was one
Are
of
you
the
taking
greatest.
credit for that?
Well, it was
The
half
1
of
million?
it.
I don't know.
It was me versus John Moxley. Million in the main event.
What does the rest of this locker room have to be aware of now that they have to deal with John Moxley?
Don't suck his power away. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Don't take his spotlight away. That's the message.
Don't suck his
Let's-
No
power
one,
away.
let's
no
talk
one would ever
about-
do that.
Let's talk about what happened to you in 0 Hour. I will say today the Premier Athletes looked like a finely tuned unit.
They did.
They pulled off a lot of moves from the inside From the outside to the inside, the suplex into the power bomb.
That was great.
Is that a you?
It was not my idea. No, Josh Woods. Listen, we do some team building exercises. Okay, one of them we tried today. Put our hands in. We say, athletes rock.
Yeah.
I believe. Did the crowd say?
I could have sworn they said athletes suck. But that could have been me just like mishearing.
We're pals.
Things.
I told you all day it was a mistake.
Well, hey guys, can we just let's try it. Can we just try it? Just put your hands in. Put your hands in. Okay, ready? Alexa, get in there. Oh, athletes.
Athletes.
No, I say
Oh.
whatever.
Don't all speak up at once.
On
I want to ask you a question.
Yeah, please.
Dustin Rhodes did attack you.
Yep.
Where do you go from here? He's Ring of Honor Tag Team Champion. He's a Ring of Honor Trios Champion.
He's Mr. Ring of Honor.
Bit of a gold hoarder, if you ask me. Long John Silver over here.
Yeah, we're going to make sure that we take all his belts away. We're going to take all his money as well as a heinous attack. I'll tell you this. It certainly was not a loss for the team, right? I am not a competitor. Mm-hmm. He's pulling me into the ring, I'm going to make sure that match gets thrown out of the record books.
Yeah.
And my guys remain undefeated in 2024.
Moving along here, another man you're very familiar with.
Yeah, please.
MJF.
Yeah.
Pulled out a victory.
Okay.
You're not thrilled about it, Matt.
I mean, not thrilled.
It surprised even me, quite frankly. I hate to say that because I don't doubt MJF, but it was a surprising victory. How do you think he pulled it off tonight?
Well, he dug deep. He got a clean victory, I believe.
Yeah,
very clean. And I will tell you this: a client of mine, he is in the hospital, and the neck is not doing well.
Well, I mean, I think he got exactly what he deserves after everything he put Daniel Garcia in through 9 weeks ago. Right. I mean, look, it's tough for me to talk about it. Get very emotional.
Okay.
And I think that is kind of what played into MJF winning the match tonight. Okay. I think it was too personal for Daniel. I think he maybe didn't keep his head in the game. It just became all about revenge. And at the end of the day, this was a match on pay-per-view for AEW against a former world champion.
I would agree.
And a win there, what that could have done for Daniel's career. Okay. It would have been astronomical. And to not get that tonight, sure, he got the retribution at the end. At the end of the day, it's not the same thing. And maybe Daniel lost sight of that tonight.
I 100% agree. And that's the game that MJF plays.
Yes.
That is the mind games. He lured him into the trap that he wanted to lure him into. And he paid the price.
And it worked, right? Because at the end of the day, like Max doesn't care about anybody but himself, right? You can agree. I would agree. Okay.
Yes.
I would agree.
So I would say Max has been threatened by Daniel for maybe 2 years now, right? It was about 2 years ago. He beat Wheeler Yuta in Buffalo, New York, main event of Dynamite. Huge reaction. A star on the rise. Okay, part of the Jericho Appreciation Society, the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Max sees that from a distance and says, "I got to take this kid out. When the time is right, I got to take this kid out." Lures him in, little phony friendship going on, and then he does what he does.
I mean, I believe that friendship was very real until it was not. But if I'm Max, I'm also wanting to neutralize any competition that I have coming up.
Mark, you don't actually believe that. You don't actually believe that he was Max's friend. I mean, we've seen Max do this time and time again. Like these aren't.
Hasn't done it to him. They had a good relationship with him.
This is a long game. Max will play a long game. So
that's true.
Great relationship.
Another person that you're quite familiar with.
Yep.
Another surprise victory, as far as I'm concerned. Chris Statlander.
Chris Statlander. Wow. Amazing. What happened to Stokely? Where'd he go? He just ran away?
I don't know. He certainly did a good job not getting too dinged up in that street fight there. He was ducking and dodging and helping supplying weapons, certainly.
yes.
There were
strategic.
chains. There was a nasty.
Oh, the tables.
Woof. First the
Spear.
announce table, and then Statlander came off the top. Willow tried to move, ended up getting crushed between Statlander's legs.
I think underrated. One of the craziest moments of that match was her legs slamming on top of Willow's head from that swanton from the top. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I'll go on the record and say that may be the greatest women's match or greatest hardcore match we've ever seen on a pay-per-view. I believe that was amazing.
I mean, that group of girls, right? I mean, I've seen it a number of times on Rampage. Often they'll be the main event.
Yeah.
It's your Willow, it's your Statlander, it's a Anna Jay, it's Sky Blue.
Yeah.
Just unbelievable the performances these guys put on week in, week out, and oftentimes it's in one of these street fights.
I agree.
You know, and tonight they just took the cake. Unbelievable stuff.
I will say this: if you had to pick a star performer of All Out, of the entire evening, Mark? Make your selection.
I hate to say it. I would say either Chris or Will Osprey. We didn't talk about it, but that match also blew my mind, melted my brain. It was insane. The damage that he took on his neck.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah. The German suplex on the apron.
Let's flip the script. Who are you most disappointed in tonight? Who
Stokely
let you down?
Just ran away. Stokely, come on.
Not a real. He broke the managerial code.
You need to stay out there with your people. Okay, that do your part.
Yeah.
Well, this idiot.
Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Do you have anything you want to plug before you go?
Yes. Listen, if you or someone you love has been victim of attempted murder, or conversely, if you or someone you love has had to fight off an attacker with only a plastic bag, I believe that you are entitled to compensation.
There it is.
1347 Smart 40. Thank you very much.
All right. Mark Sterling, ladies and gentlemen. And that sound, I believe, is a smattering. I think it'd be safe to say that's a smattering of applause. Let's talk about it. He did bring up a good point before I ushered him out. Pac and Osprey was probably one of the best, and I hate saying it because AEW does a lot of good pay-per-views with a lot of great matches, and then you feel like you're saying it every month.
I know.
But I sat in the announcer's room. I watched that match next to Jim Ross. Yeah. I got the personal Jim Ross commentary, which was amazing.
Yeah, give what are the highlights?
Oh, just like it was a lot of goddamn.
Yeah.
A lot of it was just more noises, but impressed, positively impressed noises. It was incredible. That was a great match, and I don't think that's over either. Also, now you got Ricochet in the mix.
Yeah, they were going at it, right?
Yeah.
Ricochet, Will Osprey.
Yeah.
I mean, what is going to happen there? You want to talk about athleticism, right? What do we see tonight with Pac and Will Osprey? Absolutely incredible. Just the competition here, guys, is off the page. It's spectacular. I don't even know what to say about it. He mentioned Will Ospreay's neck. The German suplex on the side of the ring. My God, guys, your body, that is not supposed to happen to you. Okay, that is not supposed to happen to you. I can't say that enough. The toll that these guys put their bodies through is incredible. Okay, nothing, just the utmost respect.
Hit me with the stats on Will Osprey,
please.
Give me the Will Osprey.
Let me give you a little rundown.
Alex Morvez has been kind enough to give us an information
Shout out
sheet.
to Alex Morvez.
Big numbers guy.
You're amazing.
Go ahead.
Okay, he won the 71st AEW International title match. His first title defense in his second international title reign. This is what we saw tonight.
Yes.
And he kept Pac from becoming the third two-time AEW international champion. Okay. He has won 22 out of 24 matches here in AEW. Yes. He has had 18 singles wins in 2024, is tied with Swerve Strickland and Orange Cassidy for the most wins in the AEW men's division this year. I mean, he's in a league of his own. We already know that, him coming in here. Yeah. And he's already just a trailblazer.
Let me tell you what bothers me about AEW as a whole.
Please tell
these too many champions who also go for other titles while they're holding the titles. I think it's a mistake. I don't even think they should be allowed to do it.
Well, I think you don't think there's a certain prestige in collecting?
I think they're hurting themselves.
What if they are collectors?
No, they're putting too much at risk. I don't like the collectors. I don't like the hoarders, quite frankly. I don't think you should be allowed. You got one title, you defend it.
Well, I mean, that's fair. I can get on board with that. You know what sticks out to me?
Sorry, go on.
I'm looking at this, right? Won the 71st AEW International title match. How long has that title been around? 2 years? It was called the All Atlantic, the International, the American, back to the International. But 71
Orange Cassidy back in the day.
John Moxley, a year ago, they had that classic match. Yes.
Yeah.
71 title matches. I can't believe that there's been 71 international title matches.
I would say the bulk of that was Orange Cassidy.
Yes. 100%.
I mean, what a run he had.
Yes.
Right?
And
Incredible.
I would say, and I hate to say this is a cliche term, but the workhorse title.
Sure.
This is a week in, week out title. And Will Ospreay does seem like that kind of guy.
I mean, Will Ospreay, good luck to you. How's this guy going to hold on to this?
You also have to wonder, Pac losing this match and Claudio and Yuta losing the tag match. They were both fighting to be champions. Was the plan for them to win and then do this?
But you don't clue in Wheeler Yuta.
Right.
What are we talking about?
Or-
here? What is happening?
Again, how deep do these roots go as far as the strategy behind what happened?
You think that there's no way they just showed up here today willy-nilly and we're like, you know what we're going to do?
No, of course
We're
not.
going to strangle the guy.
Of course not.
You know?
But he's still trios champions. I don't know
How does
this is
that
gonna
factor
work.
in? And what if they had won the tag titles,
Yes.
right? Over the Young Bucks. To your point.
Also, in the 60th TBS championship match,
Yeah.
Mercedes Moné once again beat Hikaru Shida.
Hey,
Wait, hang on. I know this is a little like off topic and isn't like wrestling, but the outfits. Can we just?
Sure.
Yeah,
can we
look,
just
the
touch
guy's got a
little
black leather jacket, got a black
fashion?
8-ball. Not too
that's
bad,
right.
huh?
Well,
You got a question?
no. I was
That's the
no.
8-ball.
Okay,
Yeah.
you look amazing, but I was more so
This
talking
isn't
about.
cheap either, you know?
the-
I wore this today and I'm going to have to throw it out. Now that it's on TV, I got to retire it.
Gentlemen, I was not talking about.
And what about
either of
Lexi's
you.
sparkly mint
I was not
ensemble?
even
Isn't that
gesturing
something?
my.
I wonder if anybody online is going to bury you like they buried Renee.
I'm going to check Twitter. Continue.
Come on.
Please,
Buried her.
please. Talk about the
Okay.
outfits in the TBS match.
I was talking about the outfits in the TBS match. Mercedes always brings the looks and the fashion, but tonight, I mean,
Captain America, right?
Speaking
Captain
of
America.
Captain America,
Holy
Evil
smokes.
Uno.
Look at this. Talk about an outfit.
Hi. They took me out from.
We were
packing
talking
boxes.
fashion. I figured you would have a lot to say about.
Oh, by far top 3 most fashionable men in AEW.
That's what I tell everyone.
Wearing
I
his
do.
99 Mick Foley over here.
Oh, thank you. So you've realized.
Evil Uno, what's going on?
Well, I was part of the 0 hour pre-show.
Mhm.
You know, the show.
Oh, I saw it.
The show goes on. You see a lot of the pro wrestlers out there doing their work, but there's a lot of work backstage being done at all times. Evil Uno's work never is finished, as you can see. Evil Uno's still the hardest working man.
What kind of work are you doing
Oh,
backstage?
packing boxes. There's paperwork to be filed. I don't know if you've heard about this thing, AEW Games.
Yeah.
I got to be handling that stuff. There's interviews to be done. A lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. Evil Uno's
Busy man.
constantly working.
Hey, speaking
Busy.
of being a businessman, why don't you plug the AEW Games podcast for the kids?
All right.
Oh,
Well, you can actually watch myself and the Chugs. That is Adam Cole. By the way, every single Monday for All Elite Arcade, it is on all podcast networks, be it Spotify, be it Stitcher. We're also on youtube.com/AEW Games. We talk video games every single Monday at noon Eastern Standard Time. Next episode drops on Monday. I talk a whole lot about Astrobot. I don't know if that's what people want to hear about right now.
No, you've lost them. You've
So
lost everyone in
go,
this.
go listen to our episode on Monday.
Now,
I
as
don't
somebody
know
who
what
talks to Adam Cole weekly, do you have any hint of anything?
I don't have a hint at all. He seems to be in good spirits.
Well,
He's playing a lot of video games. I
Yeah.
don't know physically though
Mhm.
how his recovery is going, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But hopefully we're praying it will be soon.
I think he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
You guys didn't see him walking around backstage this week?
I
No.
usually stay
No.
next to
Really?
JR in the
Yeah.
recliner.
Well, I mean,
okay.
I mean, look, I'm just gonna say it. He was around this weekend,
Okay.
right? And in good spirits. To your point,
Mhm.
walking around looked well, and I don't know. We'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see, guys.
Hopefully the
We'll
time
see.
is soon.
You know, having watched the show,
Yes.
if you had to pick one star from this entire evening, who would it be?
Did you get to pick one?
I have not.
Beforehand?
I have
No,
not. chosen
RJ
Okay.
has
right
not
now.
I
asked
would
us.
say it's
You can-
Daniel
you can-
Garcia.
Really?
You know, he came out on the losing in a losing effort, but unfortunately, he did lose.
Are you
his
saying that
matchup.
just because Daddy Magic is here? And
No,
he doesn't-
not at all. I've been a
Okay.
fan of Daniel Garcia for a very long time. Me and Daddy Magic have known him since he's 18 years
For
old.
sure.
Aw,
When I
sweet
was, I
Danny.
believe, his third match ever, and to see him on a grand stage, almost just squeezing a win on MJF, and then on top of that, finally, I think fully realizing what he is.
Yeah.
You know, I think immense potential from Daniel Garcia in
Yeah.
the future.
I haven't had a chance to talk to him since the match.
Yeah, he stormed off.
He
Yeah.
took off, right? And
Mhm.
you saw it, right? He just took off. He ran through the crowd and got changed real quick and was out of here, man. He
So
got in
what
the
do you
cab
do?
was
And I
gone.
mentioned this on the pre-show. Daniel Garcia sometimes suffers from the curse of his own potential.
Yeah.
I remember
I
him
saw
on
you
the
say
Indies.
that.
Everybody
Yes.
said this guy's going to be great.
Yes.
This guy's going to be great,
Mhm.
and then it sort of gets in your head,
Mhm.
you know. And then it's almost like you're a rookie for a decade.
Yeah.
because
Yes.
everyone pigeonholes you.
That
like
happens to a lot of people, right?
How do you get out of that?
I wish I knew. I'm still in the same situation right now. It's been 20 years.
Plucky youngster, Evil Luna.
Yeah, hey, the young. Well, no, actually, that's already taken by a tag team. The second youngest man on the roster
Yeah.
by far. Yeah.
I will also say, since you brought them up, the Outrunners had their first victory.
Yes.
This week on
Yeah.
Collision,
Top
yes.
of the merch charts, had their first victory, and then it all came crashing to a halt. Which brings me to you are someone who has experience with John Moxley.
Yes,
You had a
unfortunately.
very insanely
Gruesome.
violent
Yeah.
classic match
Insane.
in not the best way.
No.
What do you make of everything that happened today?
I'll be honest, it doesn't entirely surprise me that John Moxley would go this far. A plastic bag over one of your closest friends' head, though, is beyond heinous, beyond something you should ever do for someone that you respect, for someone you've trained with for all this time. Bryan Danielson is one of the best in the world to ever do it. Ever. If not one of the best, or if not the best professional wrestler in the world. And that's a person he claims as a friend. If he's willing to do that to someone who is his friend, what is he willing to do to someone he does not call his friend?
What do you think the thinking is here?
I wish I knew.
Why,
I wish I understood.
Claudio just smoked Bryan
I
in
know.
the face, right? What happened here?
I don't understand the
And
dynamic.
did you see Wheeler?
Wheeler had to watch through all. Wheeler seemed completely
Like a child.
unaware.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. 100%.
Yes.
Completely blindsided by this event. I think all of us were, but
And keep in
he's
mind, they're
part of that
champions. They're
crew.
champions, right?
I don't know where this goes.
And to your point of like, how could he do this to one of his closest friends, Bryan Danielson? How are all of these people that are involved with John Moxley now, how are they trusting him in his plan of direction if he's going to do that to Bryan?
I mean, I will say this about John Moxley. John Moxley has been the ace of this company for 4 years. If there is someone you would trust, is the man who has been multiple times our champion, who has done it, has been the main event of most of our pay-per-views, who's been there and has been a difference maker since day one. But also, on the other side of the coin is Bryan Danielson, one of the very best professional wrestlers in the world, a person respected by every single person in the back. And that is a feat that is quasi impossible in professional wrestling. So I really don't know what their thinking is. I understand trusting someone like John Moxley, but to trust someone like John Moxley when doing such a heinous act, I really do not understand.
Well, somebody else who you may have some trust issues with that did a bunch of heinous stuff this evening is Hangman.
Are we allowed to talk about that match? What is like the code of conduct?
I believe so.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
I watched that whole match. I mean, I have a personal relationship with Hangman, or I did at one time. Just recently, I thought things were good amongst us, and he attacked me for the Casino Gauntlet Royale just to prove a point. And thankfully, I'm still here today. I cannot say what will come of Swerve. The cinder block, the power bombs, the syringe, the chair shot. It's these men hate each other so much and are willing to do so much to get this win. But also, at what cost? These men have to go back and look at their children, speak to their wives. I know Hangman. Hangman is a very emotionally driven person. How does he go back home after this? How does he continue? Where is his path now? Is this one win really worth your children having to see this when they grow up? Is this worth the questioning your wife is going to the questions that they're going to ask?
Don't you think his wife is just sitting there happy, proud that is her man, that is the man that she chose, and he's doing everything he has to do to protect his family? Don't forget, and I brought this point up a year ago, this man broke into their home, right? I wouldn't want that guy, I mean, I was dead, all right? If that was me, I can understand the lengths of Hangman.
So then on the other end, how does Swerve go back to his family?
I think he's in the same boat.
Yeah.
I think, unfortunately, there is no good guy in this situation. Neither of these men are doing something rational.
This is what's,
and I've done a lot of irrational things in my life. Our 5 years of existence here in AEW, you could see plenty of heinous things I have done. But I've always done these things knowing that I could face my family after this. This seems well beyond what is acceptable for two human beings to do.
It is wild. Just think of the time we're living in right now in AEW. Okay, we got Swerve. I don't think we're going to see him for a while. This guy, he's got to go. He's got to heal. Got to take care of his stuff. I don't think we're going to see MJF.
Yeah.
Okay, he's on the shelf, and we got John Moxley and that crew running around,
and who knows what'll
trying to suffocate people.
Bryan Danielson might need. I don't know what kind of recovery is going to.
So we're going into Wednesday night. Who knows what's
We
going to
have
happen?
a lot of questions for Wednesday nights. We're going to get moving on here. Is there anything you want to plug before you go, Evil?
What am I allowed to plug? Let's start with that.
Is there anything in the company you want
Okay.
to plug?
Once again, All Elite Arcade will be this Monday, noon Eastern Standard Time, but every single noon Eastern Standard Time, we drop our episodes on the podcast.
Wonderful.
Do check that out.
Evil Luna, everybody.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Evil
That
Luna.
does it for us. The scrum is about to begin. Thank you to Daddy Magic. Thank you to Lexi Nair.
Thank
And
you guys for having
I
me.
think
Thank
we'll
you.
see you guys soon. Good luck with everything.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah, you have to give away the one I wanted to have.
Hey guys, thanks so much for sticking around. I know it's obviously been such a long night for everybody, but we're going to keep this one short and sweet. Without further ado, guys, please welcome in Tony Khan. Tony, I'm going to give the floor to you. Thank you for a great night and enjoy the press conference. Thank you guys so much for hanging tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, everybody. It was a great night for the business of AEW, and there's a lot of great things happening in the business of AEW right now. It was a very violent and intense night. A lot of different things, some great wrestling, some great fighting, some great rivalries, and a lot of things to keep an eye on going into Wednesday's AEW Dynamite in Lexington, Kentucky on TBS. I would love to take your questions. Some of the things as far as the status of some of the wrestlers, we're still checking, and it was a really, really intense night for a lot of reasons, but I thought it was a huge success for the company in many ways. We had a great sellout crowd tonight here at the Now Arena, where we've had so many great shows over the years. I think it was significantly up over last year's All Out on pay-per-view, which is great. And I feel really, really strong about the future of the company and our media rights. And that's kind of where I'd imagine a lot of the questions are going to be. And that's probably where I would keep some of the focus on some of the questions, because it's such a great time for the AEW business. And I'd love to talk to you all about it now, coming out of one of the most intense shows in AEW history.
Hey, Tony. Corey Lieb with the Wrestling Observer. There was a report online that you guys had a copyright request for something called AEW Shockwave. Can you provide any idea what that is? And also, again, you've obviously said you're on the 1 yard line. Is there any update on if this TV deal is signed? And if it is, or if it's really close, if there's a timetable for an announcement, at least in regards to that?
Thank you very much. It's a great two-parted question. I'll take it in reverse order. To the second part of your question, we're still in very, very close and exciting negotiations with Warner Brothers Discovery. It's been going on throughout the summer that we've been having these conversations, and it's a very detailed package that we're having discussions about. AEW's grown so much. Coming up October 2nd in Pittsburgh, we'll celebrate 5 years of AEW Dynamite. It's the 5th year anniversary of the first episode. We started with 2 hours, and we did All Out here 5 years ago, and we were just getting ready to launch that 2 hours of weekly television. Now we have 5 hours of weekly television, and the company's changed and grown and expanded so much. It's a really exciting time. The relationship has gotten better and better. We started with just TNT. Now we do wrestling every week on TBS and TNT. And I said last night here in the arena, after the conclusion of the 3 hours live, as we were starting the countdown show on TNT and saying goodnight to the live fans here at the Now Arena, I said that I think it's safe to say I believe AEW is here to stay on TNT and TBS. And I think that's true for a very long time, and I believe it. I have not put pen to paper. I'm still working on things. It's an exciting time without getting too specific, but while giving everybody that anticipation of things to come. There's really exciting things to come in AEW, and I'm very grateful to have the support of Warner Brothers Discovery, TNT, and TBS. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. We have a great appreciation for the tradition and history of professional wrestling here in AEW, and just like a lot of AEW's history has emanated from this very building, and some of our best matches and great moments and great shows and greatest rivalries. And so much has happened in this building, in the Now Arena, and here around Chicago. There's been such a great, vast history for so many years, decades before we ever dreamed of AEW here on TBS, where there's a history of over 50 years of professional wrestling. And it means a lot to me that we're able to continue that tradition. And I think hopefully continue it for a long time to come. So things are moving really, really well. And it's an exciting time. And as for your first question, I think it would be safe to say that AEW is set to create a shockwave throughout all professional wrestling. And I think people tonight are going to be talking about what they saw at AEW All Out, which was a huge business success for us. Did really, really well here at the Now Arena. Big sellout show, and also really well on pay-per-view. And I think it bodes really well and creates a lot of anticipation for what's going to happen Wednesday night on Dynamite on TBS. And we'll continue to send that shockwave through the world of professional wrestling here at AEW. Thanks, Corey.
Hey, Tony, Rick Ucchino for Sports Illustrated. Obviously, we saw a lot of crazy, violent spots on the show tonight. I'm just kind of curious, what is your process when going over, weighing the risk with a spot and whether or not, just the situation calls for it? Where do you kind of figure out on a day-to-day basis how to draw the line and not cross it, and whether or not a spot is worth it?
It's a great question. I think it's something that the company has gotten better and better about. And we have the smartest pro wrestlers, the smartest coaches, and we've only added more great wrestlers. We've seen the roster get better and better, and in the backstage, more coaches, more great people, and a lot of thought went into tonight's show. And you saw, in my opinion, the best professional wrestlers in the world go out there, and you saw so many different things, different kinds of matches, different kinds of rivalries, different kinds of results, and different kinds of emotions. And it was a roller coaster. And I felt like it was a fantastic show tonight. And I felt really great about what we put out there. I do appreciate where your question's coming from, but I also think it's from having the best wrestlers and the best staff and the best fans in the world. That's how we were able to put out a product tonight. And it takes everybody working together, the wrestlers and the fans and the staff all coming together to do something as special as this. And it was a very, very ambitious effort, to say the least.
Hi, Tony. Katie Sokol from the Pop Break. I had a quick question about Dr. Britt Baker, DMD, because we have not heard anything since All In. I was wondering if there's any type of update on her.
Well,
Thanks.
It was great to get Dr. Britt Baker back at AEW All In Wembley Stadium. It was a great show tonight, and she's a big part of the AEW roster, and she was a big part of AEW All In. And obviously tonight we saw a lot of intense matches, intense rivalries, and as we approach the coming weeks, it's an exciting time. The events are coming fast and furious. It's that time of year, going from All In to All Out, and now heading into Grand Slam in New York and into Wrestle Dream. And absolutely, Dr. Britt Baker's an important part of the roster, and it's something to keep an eye on when we'll see from Dr. Britt Baker, when we'll hear from her, and what we'll see next. Thanks.
Hi, Tony. So I know you're a data and analytics guy, and you think a lot about probabilistic thinking. So I just want to go back to the media rights question. So if you had to assign a probability, and answer it only in a number, that there would be some sort of a deal announced, say, the next month or so, what would you pen that number to be?
And did you say like a scale of 1 to 10?
Oh, no, like as a percentage, 50%, 100%, that something will be announced or come out in the media in the next month or so.
90%.
Lyric Swinton Blavity. So AEW is now 5 years old. And when the company started, it was supposed to be about being wrestling that you won't be able to find anywhere else. And so now in 2024, especially after the show that we saw today, I think we can all agree that this is stuff you won't see anywhere else. What is your vision for AEW as an alternative? And what do you think that it means to be an alternative in professional wrestling in 2024?
Well, it's a great question. The market share that AEW's captured since we launched 5 years ago is unprecedented. We started with a market share of 0, and we have a real market share. We've now gone to England, and twice we've sold over 50,000 tickets. We've set business records. We've done multiple multi-million-dollar gates, and we've become an international success story, and we're only continuing to build our worldwide business. I think it's an unprecedented success story. As a historian of sports, and as I'm getting ready for NFL kickoff and getting ready to head down to Miami for the Jaguars kicking off hours from now, I have to say that the last time that a challenger sports league in this continent had the kind of market share, the percentage of the market that AEW has in their industry would be the AFL. And the AFL was a great sports league. They had great stars. The NFL is the biggest media enterprise in the world, and the AFL came in and they got real market share. And of course, we all know they merged. It created the Super Bowl, the greatest game, the greatest entertainment property, and together the NFC and the AFC formed the NFL, the greatest sport, the greatest media enterprise, and the greatest marketing machine in the world. I think that for AEW, what we've been able to come in and do, it's very true to our sport. You can tell, I think, that the people who work here really love professional wrestling. It's something we really encourage, no matter what you do, whether you're a wrestler or whether you work in the production truck or whether you work around the ring, whatever you do in AEW, whether you're working on a camera, behind the camera, or whether you're in front of the camera, we really encourage people that love pro wrestling. And I think that's how we've kind of helped grow the market share here. And also, I think we have a lot of like-minded fans. And that's what really, I think, helps us capture that excitement and that energy. And you saw all kinds of different emotions and reactions, but the crowd was on the edge of their seat all night in this building. We've seen that many times before over the past 5 years. And that's what we've come to expect from AEW. But I think also it's getting better and stronger, and the connection and the emotions are getting stronger and more intense. And tonight I felt stronger about what we put out there than I ever have. And I feel stronger about the future of AEW than I ever have. And I think that's a really good note to say goodnight on, because tonight took a lot out of a lot of people in the backstage, myself included. It was a really intense night of wrestling. And when you saw what happened out there, and when you know my personal relationships with the people that were out there in the ring and what happened tonight, I think that speaks for itself. I love pro wrestling, and I love the people that I work with, especially some of the people you saw throughout the night and you saw what happened to them. But I wanted to come out here because I really appreciate all of you, and I wanted to come here and see you all face to face, because I really appreciate all of you coming here to cover. Normally I would stay all night and answer every question, but tonight was a little different. I think it was a huge success as a business. I think it was a great event, but some of the things that happened, some of the violence and some of the outcomes and things that happened in the matches and after the matches, I think it'd be best to let those speak for themselves. But I also, because it's so important to have all of you here covering the show, I wanted to come here and personally thank every single person here and look you all hopefully in the eye and say thanks for coming here to cover AEW. I really appreciate it. 5 years of All Out here and 6 years going back to All In, with the exception of 2020 in Jacksonville. We've built this great tradition here around Chicago, and I know a lot of you traveled to come into the show. I really appreciate it. And also, in addition to wanting to come here and thank you all for being here, I also wanted to come and talk about what's going on with the media rights. I didn't expect to be maybe putting percentages on things, but we sit in a really good place. And like I said, I feel like we're on the 1 yard line, and I'm not sure how many snaps it's going to take to punch the ball into the end zone, but I'm very confident. I'm 100% sure the ball's going in the end zone, and based on the timetable you gave me, I don't know. You put me on the spot, but that's how good I feel about the media rights. I wish I felt that good about what happened to all the people, but that's pro wrestling. I really appreciate all of you, and look forward to seeing you all at AEW Dynamite on Wednesday in Lexington, or the next time I see you all in person, which I hope would be at Wrestle Dream in Tacoma, Washington. Thank you very much.